Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and we've got a lot to talk about. We got 10, you heard it right, 10 new Lightspeed bundles coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Now, again, maybe 10 isn't the best because it's really like, 6. There's a couple that are re-releases with some additional value that they didn't have before. So we'll kind of cover that. We're going to talk about these bundles. There was a lot of news that dropped. So if you're wondering what my reaction is to all of that, this will have to come in piecemeals because there's a lot of stuff that dropped today. And of course, it's the one day that I go into the office, Wednesday. It seems to be that Wednesday's their like data drop day. Here's all the stuff, have fun. And of course, I'm like stuck at the office like crying. So I appreciate you guys. Let's talk about Lightspeed bundles here. Let's give a huge shout out to our channel members, as always, for their continued support. That's not our channel members. That's an older screenshot from talking about the era battles. There we go. There's our channel members. These are the people we want to be talking about. Thank you again for your continued support, faith, and just, putting up with all the crap, that I do. I cannot thank you guys enough. Y'all are the best. If you're ever interested in joining, that link is below, along with a link to our Discord. I thank you guys a lot. Let's get in here. Let's talk about these Lightspeed bundles. Alright, so I want to switch just right over to the screen capture, and this is a post I will be referencing a lot by Meathead over the next couple of days. The big thing to recognize here is there's 10 new Lightspeed bundles, which will be available earlier in the web store than they are in-game, and I'll show you what that looks like in the data mine. So, there's a Separatist Commander, Razor Crest, which is only available when Beskar Armor Mando is unlocked. Maul, Jedi Vanguard, Mandalorian Outcast, Versio's Command, Supreme Leader 2, Resistance Rising, Ratis 2, Finalizer 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's your 10 new bundles. Now, if we have to get picky, which we should, this is really just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new bundles, with the other 5 kind of being released before. However, these new ones have some added benefit. So I did at least want to reference this. I'm glad that he listed them out here. This is really good. Kind of just telling us, hey, here's all the different bundles. Because when we get these in the data mine, which he knows we have to be seeing, we don't always get an accurate view. So we're going to switch over to the Discord. And this is where you can kind of see, like, you're like, oh my god, this is just showing you that they're going to be in the web store and then they're going to come in game at a later date. So these are all of those bundles, again, just listed on their, at their times with their values. So when we look at the values here, the Din Djarin Lightspeed bundle, this is not a new one. This is that bundle, again, for his characters. Relic 5, it's $20. Razor Crest is $15. Separatist Commander, $25. Jedi Vanguard, $10. Maul, $40. Then we come down to the next one. The Versio's Command is $25. Mandalorian Outcast is $15. Resistance Rising, $35. Supreme Leader 2, $35. Going down, Finalizer 2, Ratis 2, both are $40. We are getting the re-release of a Smuggler's Lightspeed bundle that we've had before. The General Skywalker Lightspeed bundle's coming back, and Jabba's Entourage is coming back. So, while there's 10 new bundles, there's also some re-released bundles that are going to be coming into the game as well. So, for some of you who maybe missed out on these in the past, and you've got, maybe not buyer's remorse, you're going to be able to, scoop those up while they're hot. So let's scroll up here. We got, all this stuff is just crazy. Here's the pictures that we want to see. So the Maul Lightspeed bundle, $40 for Maul. Now, what I want you guys to consider here, this is not a $40 bundle for Maul. I want you to also consider this one, the $15 for Mandalorian Outcast. I want you to think of these two bundles together because as we've kind of, seen recently, Lord Vader, his new team is Darkside Clones, which kicks Maul out of the team. Because Maul is getting kicked out of that team, we need a home for him, and that home happens to be Darkside Mandalorians, which these 4 right here are great with him. So, kind of think of these two bundles together, that you're going to pay $15 for these guys, and you're going to pay $40 for Maul. I think Maul is a great purchase. This is a team that just needs one Zeta on Maul. Nobody else needs their Zetas. to make this team work. Maul just needs his unique Zeta, and this is a great team. So I do want you to consider those two together. If you already have these characters at relic levels, then you're just looking at purchasing Maul if you don't have him, which is a good purchase. I think the Conquest units, especially if you don't have him unlocked yet, this is a great purchase, saves a lot of time. If you do have him unlocked and you don't have the gear, and maybe this is a great way to kind of, expedite that process. Then we're looking here at this Ratis Bundle 2. And this was already released to us. The difference here that you're going to notice is the characters are at Relic 7. That is not to be understated of the value there. Now, for some of you, this is no help at all, because if you already have Rey, not really a big deal. Yes, Relic 7 is helpful on characters, but the value here is if you've missed the Rey bundles before, this is a great chance. Some of the Relic 7s in here are actually really helpful, like Snips and Bosk. Those are two very good Relic 7s. Stick Rey, you need her Relic 7 for, Galactic Legend Rey as well. So there is some value here at having all these characters at Relic 7. That's, I don't have T3 or Karth at Relic 7, nor do I have L3 or Lando, or even these Resistance units at Relic 7. So, there's still some value for my account in this bundle, and that's, again, going to come with the ships as well. So if you've missed out on these before, $40 to get this pack is a pretty solid purchase there, especially the added value of Relic 7s. Now, I think in the past, this was Relic 5s, and it was like $20. A Relic 7 is absolutely way more valuable than a Relic 5. There's a lot more that goes into it. But I think this is a smart business decision from Capital Games. They'll probably sell almost as many of these as they did before, and they're going to get more money out of it for, to them, minimal change. We're also getting the Finalizer 2, which again is the Finalizer characters at Relic 5, or at Relic 7 instead of Relic 5, with their ships as well. So this is, again, and the value here for some of you, I'd say this one's probably more significant value, because some of you might not have a Relic Cad Bane. Some of you might not have Relic 7s on Bosk. Again, $40, so it really depends where your account is, what you haven't purchased before. But there is some value there as well. Again, this one probably, given what was released before between Rey and Kylo, this bundle will offer more value to you in terms of the relics, because you will have made less of these upgrades than you would in this one, where Boba Fett has to be Relic 8 for your Executor. Bosk would have to be Relic 5. Kylo Ren Unmasked and Kylo Ren Unmasked and OG Kylo both are Relic 7 for a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren as it is. You're not going to get as many extra relics out of this as you potentially would up here. But those are both available there, again, if you did not get them before. Then we have our Resistance Rising Bundle. This is giving you the other Resistance characters all at Relic 6, which is a bump up from where I think it was Relic 5 before. Look, I don't know. It's a little bit more expensive than it was. Call it what it is. They're trying to get you. They've got you with it. I still think at $35, this pack is well worth it for if you don't have the Resistance and you're looking at it. Getting them at Relic 6 is still going to help, right? That's a solid, yeah. Same thing here, Supreme Leader Lightspeed Bundle 2. You're getting all of them at Relic 6. Again, one way or the other, this is helpful. Extra relics is always nice. Again, really just depends on what your account needs and if you feel the need to purchase them. Now, this Jedi Vanguard bundle, if you don't have these characters, it's absolutely a good purchase. It's a $10 bundle for 4 Relic 5s. The one thing I'll say with this one I don't like as much, Mace, Kit, and Luminara are all required for the Battle for Naboo, so a lot of players have already got them at Relics, which means it's just Imagundi that, for me, I would need, who I think this kind of confirms Imagundi going to be in the new raid. I feel like we've sleuthed that out already. The other characters being Battle for Naboo. Listen, if you don't have them, it's a nice purchase. It helps. If you already have them and you just need Imagundi, I'd probably just skip. I don't think one Relic 5 is worth $10, but that's just my personal opinion. the Separatist Commander, General Grievous here, Relic 7, including, and the Malevolence, all with their abilities at tier 7. This bundle's solid for $25, General Grievous plus the Malevolence. This is a huge purchase. The one thing I will say with this bundle that I need you to keep in mind, its value significantly increases if you have investment in your Geonosians and if you've got Vulture Droid and Hyena Bomber. And the value lessens if you do not. This is not one of the plug-and-play capital ships where you can kind of get away with a mishmash fleet. You really do need those Separatist ships to get the most out of the fleet here. So, not saying that it's not worth $25, but if you're going to spend $25 here, or you're going to spend maybe $25 somewhere else, it might be better spent somewhere else if you don't have a lot of the ships. Again, you've got to ask yourself where you have a greater need for. Do you have a greater need for your Get To, or is it better spent trying to get some of these other bundles and factions up and running, right? So I do like this bundle. I'm not going to say it's bad. I just don't think it's quite as good. Then we have the Versio's Command here. Iden, Snowtrooper, Magma, Storm, and Colonel Stark all at Relic 5. The other thing here is there's a ship involved. And that ship, from my assumption, is TIE Defender, right? I shouldn't say assumption. It's not a picture, but it does say supported by TIE Defender there. So you're going to get TIE Defender. This one, to me, is probably... I called that they would sell Iden and her ship. I thought they would just be a bundle together. Them putting in this squad, I love this. This, to me, is a great bundle for a lot of you in that mid-game. This group of bundles right here that they released is, I'd say, probably the first time they've released them where my account doesn't really have any massive benefit. I get a couple of things here and there, but nothing where it's an entire faction I'm getting significantly more of. I think that's a great step. I feel like these are all these bundles that I call in that there's Journey Guide ones. This one falls into that convenience. This is going to help you really get, significantly further in the game. Iden and her ship are both fantastic. This, very similar to the Maul team, is a 1 Zeta. You need 1 Zeta on Iden to really make this team click, and it's going to be solid for you. I cannot stress how important I think this bundle is to your account's, growth. And what these bundles do, they're, again, the GL bundles are always great to see. But this, Mandalorian Outcasts, the Maul Bundle, the even Jedi Vanguard, if you don't have it already, they kind of fit into this roster width. They're not going to help you beat the top level teams. They're not going to beat the top level teams. They're not going to beat your GLs. But they're going to allow your width to grow. And a good way to describe that would be back in the day before I had Iden or even old Bad Batch. When I had to go up against a Mon Mothma team and a General Grievous team, I would normally take my Wampa against Mon Mothma, and then I would use my 501st against General Grievous. I really needed my 501st to do something else, because they'd get their awful banners. It was an easy win against General Grievous. I'd give up 5 banners, where I could be giving up those 5 banners against, say, Darth Malgus, who was a much, better fight. Much better use of my General Skywalker. Getting Iden, I could then use Iden against, say, that Mon Mothma team, and I could use Wampa against General Grievous. Or, in my case, I got the Bad Batch. Bad Batch weren't going to beat Darth Malgus, but they were able to beat a team that freed up something else. And so this Iden team, that's kind of where they fit in. It's not that they're going to beat these amazing teams, but they're going to maybe free up some of those squads that are better and can have, serve a greater purpose to your Grand Arena strategy. Right? And that's a similar situation with what the Mandalorians will do. They're not going to go and beat Ahsoka. They're not going to beat Jabba, maybe with a Datacron, but no, they're not going to beat Jabba. They're most likely, I will say, I do believe this team with the right Zetas and Datacrons can beat Sith Eternal, but, that's not super, super impressive. But it's a really good width team. It's going to allow you to beat some of that middle tier stuff that you get some good banners on. You're not going to feel overly stressed about some of the fights because you have that option. So I do really like this team. Again, I think that's a solid purchase. Now, again, we got a lot of other news that I will cover in some other things. If I flip back to the game and you're going to ask me, hey, Phil, you know, what do these bundles, like, how many of these have impact to the Order 66 raid? And that's the one thing that I'm not quite sure on, to be honest. You know, the last time we got these Separatist bundles, you know, we got the Battle for Naboo raid, and I feel like we kind of knew, oh, hey, these characters might be needed. None of those bundles, when you go back and you think about it, none of these scream, hey, we're going to be part of the Order 66 raid. Like, none of that really screams we're going to be part of Order 66 outside of maybe, you know, Imagundi for me. Because even, like, your Mandalorian characters, they were a part of the Krayt Dragon raid. All of those guys right there were a part of that Krayt Dragon raid. So, I am having a tougher time kind of seeing where these maybe impact the raid, and the answer is maybe they don't. You know, so I don't know that I see any of these being raid teams, but they are these, you know, convenience journey guide type bundles that are going to help your account grow its width a little bit. And I think especially with the Iden and again that Mandalorian, not needing a lot of Zetas is huge. Where I think a lot of players are almost burnt out on bundles is they're still 6-7 Zetas behind on 2 or 3 journey guide characters. You're telling me for a Zeta you can do an Iden team, and a Zeta you can do a Maul team, and you're going to be fantastic. You're going to be set, going to be able to kill some good stuff. That's really good value added. So I did want to, you know, at least mention those things, kind of, you know, touch on the raid a little bit. Again, we got a lot of other news that I can't cover in this video. I wanted this just to be about the Lightspeed bundles. Again, I don't think I personally am going to be spending my money on any of these. Maybe the only one I would consider is if we go back to the, I'm just going to go back to Meathead's May the 4th post here. Or no, I guess now I got to scroll down in the Discord. Give me one sec. I think the only one I would really consider here is that Din Djarin bundle that had, you know, like Queel, IG-11, Cara Dune. Those are characters that I'm sitting there like, yeah, man, for $20, that might be worth me investing in that. Simply because I don't know when I'm going to get around to them again. You know, and I mean, I don't even have the Zetas for them, so that's maybe a, hey, just save it. But it's a team that I've sat there multiple times and been like, when can I finally build these guys? And I've never found the time to do it. And I'd like to at least have them to say I have them. But again, you know, we'll have to wait and see. And remember, there's all, you know, these other bundles that are going to be re-released as well. So if you're not impressed by any of those ones up top, remember there is the Din Djarin bundle. There is this Razor Crest bundle if you don't have that for some reason. And then you think going down to the General Skywalker, Jabba's Entourage, and even the Smuggler bundles. Those are some really, really high value things that can help progress your account significantly that are going to be coming to the game later. So don't feel like these are the, you know, if you have a budget or something, think about which ones make sense. Kind of use this little data mine in here to figure those out. So that's the end of this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. Like, subscribe, comment. I love you all. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.